I wanted to share my experience with long COVID because I'm interested in the research and seeing how other people are impacted by it. And I've had it twice, so I wanted to share some of my experiences with that. I first had COVID in 2020 when it was just starting basically in the country when we went into the first lockdown, and then I caught it again last year near the end of the year after I'd been vaccinated. I was diagnosed earlier this year with long COVID by my GP, so and some of the impacts of that I will talk about in the interview or later. I noticed mainly in my swimming. So swimming is something I do regularly, and my lung capacity's reduced quite a lot, and it hasn't come back to where it was pre-COVID. I also, when I first caught it, I didn't have many symptoms. It was very, very mild. The second time though was pretty rough, and suffered most of the symptoms that come along with COVID. And I'm not 100%, I haven't returned to my normal self. There's just small things that I notice day to day, and but my swimming is what is really highlighted, that there has been, an impact from it. Mainly after the second time round, so I experienced fatigue, a lot of fatigue, pretty much slept for 3 days and haven't quite come back to where I was pre-COVID. And I find that concentration is a little harder. I didn't experience the brain fog, but my concentration, I have to focus a lot more than I previously did. There's achy body. I'm not sure if that's because of age, but you don't know, like the old joints and aches and pains. Not sleeping as well as I previously did. I have a lot of broken sleep, and prior to COVID I slept quite well through the night, but those are the things that I've noticed most. I actually changed the way I work, so I contract from home now rather than full-time work. So one of my strategies was to reduce my working hours, just to take a bit more self-care, and part of that is regular massages, chiropractor, regular gym, swimming, just keeping active. Eating a bit better, still not eating as well as I should, but better than what I was, and doing meditation, just practicing a lot of the things pre-COVID, but more regularly than I did previously. So, but those strategies are working for me at the moment. To address the sleep issues, I actually take nanny naps during the day, and that kind of makes up for any broken sleep that I might have through the night, but it seems to be working. Yeah. For me, I'm not sure if some of the symptoms that I have are through just normal aging, or if they're related to COVID. But what's been quite hard is doing the things that I previously did but not getting the same results as I would have. Example, swimming. I enjoy playing tennis, and that I really notice the difference in playing sports like that, in basketball, where I would have been able to spend a bit more time on the court, but just fitness wise it's really hard to get that lung fitness back. So For me, swimming has been something that I've done all the time, and so my lung fitness has always been really good. I can swim 2 kilometres fine without feeling like I'm going to drown, and and so when I try to do that now, I notice that at 1 kilometre, I'll be tired. I could swim half an hour easily. I probably at the moment could do 20 minutes if I pushed myself. So I've noticed a big decrease in my lung fitness, and it just burns. It's like going for a run and you haven't trained for a year and you just feel it burning. That's probably the easiest way to describe it when I swim. And I would not have the only other time that I've had that burn is when I've actually swum a few kilometres and and I'm tired but not in a training swim. Yeah, I actually get really hungry, but I think that's part of, so if I push myself swimming wise, I get really hungry. I think that's just a natural, side effect of swimming, but I do get tired, like I get tired later in the day. So I have to be mindful of my breathing and fitness. My whānau relationships and with even friends, it probably hasn't impacted that much, but I do find I don't go out as often. I prefer to stay home. If we have big events, but I'll be a bit more shy to go along to those, especially if it's during winter and you just don't want to get germs basically, because I find that I pick up colds easier. So I'm just a lot more mindful of big gatherings. But yeah, I tend to be a bit more antisocial. I probably wasn't that social beforehand, but I do like to stay home more often than go out. You've got all sorts of connections through phone, Zoom, so I do see my family and friends often, but just in a different way. I find people understand, if you're tired, but I don't think they understand fully, the impacts of long COVID. And I think that's just because there's not a huge amount of research around it, and there's not, they're not 100% sure whether it's, are you suffering from these symptoms or have you not been training and you're just being lazy sort of thing. But it's just hard to know, what's impacting me on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you think, oh well, it could be long COVID, it could just be me getting old. For me, self-care's been something I've been thinking about probably prior to COVID. I just hadn't been practicing it, so it was a catalyst to do that. I find my new routine, I suppose, is much more conducive for my health and well-being. And I haven't had any, sort of real down moments, because you can't really do anything, so you sort of just suck it up and carry on sort of thing. There's no cure or no nothing quick that you could do to fix some of those side effects, so you just make plans to deal with it and do the best you can. So for me, being active is important, and prior to COVID, I probably wasn't as active, and so it is probably one of those more positive side effects where you've got put on your ass basically with an illness, and you think, oh geez, I better look after myself a bit better, and so Going to the gym is a habit now, and for me it's around doing activities that I enjoy. I'm not a gym bunny, like I don't go and do weights and CrossFit or anything like that. I do all the stuff that I enjoy, so I'll go and shoot some goals, I'll dance, I'll swim, go to yoga class. It's sort of not high impact stuff, and I think those types of workouts work for me. But having said that, like every now and then I'll get on the cardio equipment and sort of test my lung capacity and see if it's gotten any better. But yeah, I think it's important to keep active and to look after yourself. I'm lucky to be able to do that because I contract from home, but people who have full-time jobs might not be able to do that. They don't get to go to yoga at lunchtime. They don't get to pick all the classes on the timetable that suit them. So I think it's probably more of a lifestyle shuffle for me that's helped, and for other people that might help as well. Yeah. After the second time I got COVID, it took me a while to get back into my gym routine. I basically had to listen to my body. Like sometimes I'd go to the gym, turn up and shoot 40 goals, and then I'd be tired, so I'd go home and have a rest. And just gradually, sort of see how I'm feeling each day and build up slowly to, shooting 100 goals and then doing a swim afterwards. But it probably took me a good year to sort of get back to a place where I was pre the second time I caught COVID. I have to say, the first time I caught COVID, I didn't feel it, I didn't notice it, so I was pretty much back into my gym routine straight away, and my energy levels were okay. But the second time I actually had to be more conscious of what I ate for energy levels, what I was drinking, and sleeping, just getting lots of sleep and rest. I think I'm just curious, around the impacts of long COVID, and I think I had discussions with my flatmate around it and some of his symptoms that he had. He was like, oh, maybe I've got long COVID, and I said, well, maybe you have. I don't know. And it's just interesting that you've got this one flu that's been identified that has all these impacts, but what about all the other flus before it? Have they given you some sort of long-standing negative effects? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just curious about the research, and what else can I be doing to make things easier? Yeah, as you get older and you recover post-COVID.